yeah, I'm Zach Mueller. I am the lead singer and guitar player for the rock band Glenneyre, and we're based out of sunny, sometimes too sunny, Los Angeles. It's been in the upper 90s the last week, so I've had just about enough of the heat. Uh, but yeah, this is my band. We just put out a recent EP about a couple months ago now, called Winter Blonde, and yeah, people seem to be digging it, and it's pretty loud and rough around the edges, but in the right ways. Just kind of fun, punk, grunge energy.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that when I was checking you out a little earlier today and a few days ago. So what would you say your influence is with that? Because your sound is very familiar, but also very different.
Cool, that's a super amazing compliment. Back when I set out to do this project, I kind of wanted to follow my heroes, which obviously Nirvana, and then they go back and forth between my favorite bands, but I don't know if you're familiar with Sonic Youth. It's like an late 80s, early 90s alternative where it's kind of noisy and chaotic. And yeah, I grew up listening to a lot of the Seattle kind of 90s grunge bands, and Soundgarden, Mudhoney, and Screaming Trees. Uh, Something just comes over me when I step on a distortion pedal and the amp is screaming and then about to like explode. And yeah, it's just super fun. And then something's like play fast, power chords, pedal to the metal, and yeah, it's a good time. And so I just kind of when I set out to do this band, I just wanted it to be like when I was a kid playing guitar in my parents' garage, and my friends and I would just play "Smells Like Teen Spirit" over and over and over, and eventually my dad would be like, "Can you please learn another song?" Like, for the love of God. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of recapture like what made me excited about music in the first place.
That's really cool. How long have you been doing this? I don't know if you said that earlier, but
So Glenneyre has been a project for about 3 years now. I think we started in 2019. I think we have about five singles out and one EP. But I've been playing guitar for almost 20 years now. And yeah, I started playing when I was 10, so you could do some math. Uh, so yeah, 20 years on guitar. And then I've been touring in bands for about 9 years now. Wow. Doing indie and pop and kind of dipping my toes in different genres. And this was kind of my return to what I'm most excited about.
okay, that's really cool. So you said that you've done some tours. Have you mainly stuck in California, or where all have you been?
So we haven't done any tours with Glenneyre. We really were kind of getting to the swing of doing shows, and we were gonna get a West Coast tour lined up and the Southwest tour. Then pandemic hit, and that kind of brought everything to a halt. But in my previous band, I did like national tours, and we did to Canada. They were like month to 6 weeks long.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah.
Um, what kind
But
of audience are you trying to reach with this EP?
um, well, it's funny because I don't really set out to find an audience per se. These songs were really personal, and when I go to make songs or music or just mess around, it's honestly more for me. And so I was just trying to make great songs. That was just something that I was proud of, and that's fun to play. And if it connects with people, that's amazing. But otherwise, it's largely just to kind of like uh, satisfy my own creative needs. And if it finds the audience, which uh, you know, hopefully it does, keeps growing, and that's great. It's just a bonus.
Yeah, you've definitely got something great here. Which one? There was one that I specifically that really caught my attention. It was accidental and erase you. Do you mind talking about those real quick?
Yeah. So "Accidental" seems to be by far everyone's favorite song, which is pretty funny because when we set out to do the record, everything was a lot slower. And when we started to do pre-production on the record, and which by that I mean like me and my band would just drive around in the car and listen to music. We started to listen to a lot of Linkin Park. I don't know if you listen to Linkin Park at all, but we
Yeah.
were bumping Hybrid Theory, which is I think their first record, and just I mean it was so heavy and like the grooves were so sick, and we were in the rehearsal room getting ready to do the record, and my drummer was like, "Zach, we need to do a halftime out." And I was like, "I don't know, like is it too metal? Like is it too this, too that?" And then we did it, and we're like, "Oh yeah." So when you hear the outro and we slow down, that was we decided to do that maybe the day before we went into record, and yeah, it's just a burner and lots of riffs and uh, it's fun because the girl who was playing bass at the time, her name's Ariel. Her and I go back and forth on the vocals, and uh, it's kind of a nod to our one of my favorite bands, Sonic Youth, which they have a female vocalist as well, and they trade vocals, and it's kind of noisy and chaotic. Uh, yeah, like it kind of falls under the whole like, oh, I step on a distortion pedal, and like who knows what's gonna happen, and yeah, so Accidental is just kind of a burner, and it's a bunch of riffs that we would play live. Super, super fun. And then Erase You is actually a song I'm kind of sitting on for a while. And yeah, it's just, I was kind of sitting on the chords and how to play them. And then eventually I kind of like melded it to be how I wanted. And I'm a big fan of the soft, loud kind of dynamic, like the Nirvana and Pixies and kind of 90s alternative vibe. And yeah, it's just kind of a fun. And then the solo I'm really proud of too in that song. It's doesn't quite follow the vocal melody, but it's not like noise like our other ones. Which the noise solos are fun, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's fun to hold on to a melody. And the song is actually based on the movie Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Have you ever seen that movie?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's kind of depressing, so watch it, you know, maybe with some pals while you're in a good mood and a good headspace. But it's got Jim Carrey and I'm forgetting the woman's name, but super, super great movie. And the gist is they both fall in love with each other, and then they have like a toxic relationship, and so then they go through electroshock therapy to forget each other. And so then it's kind of like them navigating their old memories and stuff like that. I'm not going to give away too much because it's worth watching, but so the lyrics come from that.
Okay, that's really cool. Um, you said when we first started talking that you were making some videos, right?
Mm-hmm.
How's that going?
Good. We actually just shot the video for 7 years, and it's getting getting edited this week, and hopefully I get it in the next couple weeks. So you never really know how long that stuff takes, and it just takes as long as it takes. And, that song is another personal song to me because I lost a friend during the pandemic, uh, and him and I were really close. He was the bass player in one of my early indie bands, and uh, obviously bands break up, people go different ways, but him and I would always hang out and like ride motorcycles and do fun boy stuff and well, not the Girl Scout but like we just go mess around. And so the video is kind of a tribute to my buddy that died. Me going through like different things we used to do, and I went and rode a motorcycle back where him and I used to ride. It's very beautiful. I don't know if you've ever been to California, but it's in the Angeles Crest, and it's a very scenic. A lot of car commercials are shot up there. It's super, super cool.
Really cool. So we talked about your influences, but what made you want to do music, and what kind of influenced you to do a band rather than doing it on your own?
So my earliest influences of wanting to play guitar. So I grew up in Chicago. My dad's from Chicago, and he is a huge Elvis Presley fan. And so we would always watch the Elvis Presley concerts and the movies and all that stuff. And I wasn't a big fan of the movies, but the concerts, I was like, it's always ripping and like everyone's having such a good time. And I was just like, oh man, this just looks so sick. And then my dad's a big classic rock person, and so we were listening to the classics like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and like Deep Purple, just the classic vinyl kind of music. And it always seemed everyone was so virtuosic in that, where everyone's so amazing at what they do. It always kind of felt out of reach. And then when my friend gave me the Nirvana Nevermind CD in like fifth grade, and I remember having the little CD player and putting my headphones that clipped over the ears and sitting on the bus and like clicking play and just hearing the guitar, then the drums, and then the huge guitar come in. And I was just like, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I have to do this. And I went home. By the time I got home from the bus, I begged my parents to get me a guitar for Christmas or whatever was around the corner. And yeah, and then I've always kind of been there's a magic in playing in a band. Uh, like I think it's hard to be a solo person, honestly, because it's all on you. And uh, I think a large part of music is collaborating with people, and that really can be a big difference. I think you can hear it in a lot of music, especially if you listen to like if you listen to like Fleetwood Mac, and you hear kind of what's going on there, and you listen to like Stevie Nicks. Like they're both great, but there's like a magic with Fleetwood Mac that comes from a lot of people coming together, and there's just crazy relationships and bands. Uh, it's kind of hard to describe, but it's just there's just a magic to it, honestly.
Okay.
What it comes down to.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So, um, do you have any like dream collaborations? Like if somebody were to reach out to you right now, who would you hope it would be?
Um, yeah, there's a lot of cool people that are making really cool music. Like I would love to maybe work with this band called Dive. I don't know if you're familiar with them. It's DIIV. They're an indie band originally from I think Brooklyn, but they live out in California now, and they're super super cool. Very like jangly guitars and heavy distortion, that kind of vibe. Or I'm trying to think. That's a good question. The crazy thing about living in LA is that there's so many amazing musicians, and so you could just wander into a room and meet somebody that you've never met before, and they could be like the best person you've ever played with, but it's just they haven't been discovered yet or whatever. I'm trying to think. Yeah, dive would be cool. Uh, so from a secret for my next record is my sister bought me a bunch of fruit shakers. I don't know if you know what those are. They're
Okay.
like maracas kind of, but they're in the shape of fruit.
Yeah.
And she got me a bunch. And one of my favorite bands is Radiohead, and Johnny Greenwood plays a lemon in one of my favorite songs. And so my new dream is I want to play a lemon on stage for like one of my friends' bands. I think that would be super fun. And just like really uh really not buy into it, but just like really be focused and really like own the lemon.
Okay.
That's kind of what I want to do, and just be the percussion somewhere. I think that'd be super fun.
Yeah, I haven't seen fruits. I have seen like eggs. They
It's the
have,
same thing, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I wish I had some to show you right now, but they're at the studio. And
Okay.
yeah, it's the same thing. It's an egg shaker, or it's the same concept, but it's just like one's shaped like a banana, and then one's shaped like a lemon, and one's shaped I think an apple and maybe an orange. I can't remember, but
That's cool.
yeah,
I had no idea.
yeah.
Um, um,
Music is weird. There's a lot of weird products out there.
yeah, I didn't even, so I played flute for a really long time. And then
Oh,
I didn't
cool.
even know there was like an alto flute or a bass flute until my band director handed me a bass flute and it was bigger than me. Um, so yeah, it's definitely weird. Um, Is there
Looks cool
anything,
though.
yeah. Is there anything that you're looking forward to or anything you have coming up that you would like to talk about or that you can talk about?
Yeah, there's actually a lot coming up. I've been kind of putting off my EP release show because we've released it in the pandemic, and especially in Los Angeles, it kind of was really crazy for a long time. And, like COVID's were breaking out, and COVID, like it didn't really feel right. But now it kind of seems like that's in full swing. So I'm gearing up to maybe do a like hybrid video release slash EP release show, and it'll be somewhere out here with my friends. So that's kind of what's going on there. And then we're working on the next EP, which my buddy was in town from Chicago, and we did the bass and drums for about 2 weeks ago now, and I'm really, really, really excited about it. It's I love Winter Blonde and I love the previous music, but it's definitely a step in a new direction, which I'm excited about.
Good.
Yeah.
Um, we're kind of like halfway through the year. So I guess where do you want to be by the end of this year?
By the end of this year, I mean it's kind of their normal goals. They're not. I try to set attainable goals, so I would like to have a couple more, maybe quadruple digits, or what's five? Just get some more, listeners to the channel and have a little bit more engagement. I'd like to have probably a big show at a medium venue out here. That's a goal of mine. And then, yeah, when I have the EP ready, it'll probably be come out in early 2023. And I'm in the process of, get the whole PR thing together and reaching out to radio hosts and, cashing in favors. And, hey, Jimmy, remember when I did this for free for you? Listen to my band, please. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get some new merch design because I've been kind of using similar stuff for a while. I started, I actually had a lot of fun doing it, but I made some bleach tees. I don't know if you saw those. And I like hand tie-dyed some of the merch with bleach. I think it looks pretty cool, actually. It's kind of trendy, but I think it's cool. And
Yeah. Those.
yeah, I been helping my girlfriend. She's the producer. She owns the studio that we made the first or the EP and a couple of songs at. Been
Okay.
kind of helping her, you know, get things together. Yes, it's hard. It's hard to have the tangible goals in music right now because I'd like to go tour, but it's so crazy and gas is so expensive, and a lot of bands are having issues like being robbed on tour, which it's really hard. Really, because if you get your gear stolen and your guitar is $500, that's like it could be an entire night's pay. And if you have two people in your band, or the drums get stolen, or someone steals your merch bin, that's your livelihood. So it's kind of a crazy world out there. It's kind of hard to navigate the right moves right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess I just have a few more questions.
Okay.
What is something that you've learned through this journey that you wish somebody would have told you?
The main thing I wish somebody would have told me is that you don't need expensive gear or the next piece of expensive gear to write the song or a good song. Because I used to play mostly lead guitar in bands, and I would waste so much money, buying this guitar or that guitar. Like, I'll sound better if this is a better guitar, and it never did. And I just ended up wasting so much time and money to try to like chase a tone that didn't matter when I just needed to write better songs. And so I guess I wish someone would have just said like, "Hey, this doesn't matter. Focus on the song." That'd be one. That's probably two actually. The number one I would say is like being honest. Be honest with yourself when you're writing. 'cause I obviously, you're not obviously, but through the different trends, you get swept up into one trend. Like I was really into like the 1975 pop sound for a while.
Mhm.
I don't know if you heard of them.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, so I was well, the one of the bands I toured in was pretty similar in that vein, and it's super fun and it's like jangly, and the shows are fun because everyone's dancing and having a good time. But at the end of the day, I kind of knew that that wasn't me, and I would try to like write a guitar part or write a song, or like, and I keep hitting all these roadblocks because it wasn't really who I was as a musician. Which it's cool. I mean, it's totally a cool style of music, and if that's your thing, like that's totally rad. Like run with it. But it wasn't my thing. That was kind of a hard lesson for me to learn, is that you really do have to be honest, because the music hopefully will be better if you like write from the heart or whatever. But I find that it's been particularly true, and yeah, just it'll reflect in the honesty and genuineness of music, and I think that's important.
Yeah, you can definitely tell when people are struggling with finding their sound because they aren't kind of being true to themselves. So I like that you were like that because it just makes it seem more personal, more genuine, and easily relatable.
Mhm. Yeah, totally. I 1,000% agree. But it's hard to like look inward and be like, this is who I am. And I mean, I'm 30 now, and I really didn't have any idea until I was like 27 of like, I was kind of, chasing my tail, or I was a square and I was trying to like slam myself into like a circle, uh, like what's it called? The little toys or the blocks. And it was honestly one of my friends, my other player friend, who told me, he's like, Zach, like, he opened my eyes because I was going to auditions with him, and it was never really panning out. And he's like, dude, like, you're not this pop guy. Like, go be rock, go be a rock guy somewhere else. Like, quit trying to be pop. And I was like, no, you're right. You are super right. And I believe him because he goes on some sick tours.
Good.
So, and
Well, maybe you'll be there someday. I have
oh
faith.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I would love for that to pan out.
Um, so I guess to wrap this up, like, is there anything that you would like to say to anybody who sees this?
Yeah, I would. I hope that whoever can listen, or whoever has the opportunity to check this interview out, I hope they take a listen to the EP, and whether they love it or hate it, take a listen, take a gander. I'd love to hear people's feedback. Uh, it's always interesting to hear which song which song resonates with who, and it almost always seems to be accidental, but you know, it's cool to hear. And I like to hear different people's ideas of like what a song is about or what the record means, and uh, yeah, and hopefully, where are you from? I never asked you.
Oh, I'm from Ohio. Not
Ohio.
very far away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in Chicago, so I'm kind of familiar with the Midwest. But I moved out here, I think, right when I was 18, so I didn't spend too much time traveling. But
It seems like people tend to move out of Ohio or like the Midwest when they're 18 and they're like, we're just gonna go over to California.
yeah,
So where can people find you?
people can find me. I'm distributed to all the major things. So whatever your favorite streaming platform is, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Bandcamp. Uh, that's kind of the main ones. Everyone seems to be on Spotify these days. Uh, and I'm working on, rebranding, putting out a new website. Have to be a little more interactive. But you can check out our posts on Instagram. I'm really bad about Facebook, but I'm trying to be better about it. And then sometimes I get cheeky on Twitter, but it's far and few between.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, totally. It was super fun. I love talking to hopefully fans, and I'm learning how to do interviews and learning how to give them, and it's mutually beneficial.
Yeah, I would definitely love to stay in touch and hopefully talk about the next EP with you.
Yeah, it'll be super fun, and I would love to check out. Is it just is the blog on your Link is like the link in bio.
Yes, my link is in the bio.
Okay, cool. I'll scope that out. And
Yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day.
yeah, you too. Have a good weekend. Hopefully it's not too hot out in Ohio.
Well, it is actually 90 degrees today, so I feel you on that.
And it's humid. And it's a humid hotness.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, thank you, and I will talk to you again.
Yeah, sounds good. Keep me in touch or keep me in the loop.
Definitely will. All right, goodbye.
Bye.